Alright everybody, suck it all in. Hello ladies and geeks, welcome to another exciting episode of Getting a Geek. I decided to make a quick video. This might go on both of my channels, but I briefly wanted to discuss my first thoughts on the Xbox One controller. I had a little bit of chance to explore and mess around with it on Killer Instinct, and simply put, I think it's a big disappointment, and I actually want to put forth an effort for a call to action on Microsoft's part to rectify, I guess, this travesty I feel against myself, and I think against anyone with larger hands playing their console. Now, what is my main gripe? If you have had the opportunity to use the Xbox One controller in comparison to using the PlayStation 4 controller, or even if you just compare the Xbox One controller to the Xbox 360's controller, you'll realize that the triggers are very difficult to position your fingers on properly so that you're pressing the buttons with the least amount of stress, or pressing them in the proper location so that it clicks smoothly. And I'm talking about the two bumpers specifically. Now, originally I did have a complaint about the enlarged triggers. They seem to work well. They function a lot better than when I was using the demo triggers that they had on the Xbox consoles at the time of launch. You have this big bulky apparatus, so that the controllers don't get stolen, I understand. So looking past that and actually owning the controller and getting a little bit of opportunity to explore with it, I was very disappointed, because when I try to wrap my fingers, I guess the best way, I don't have the controller on my hand, but I was just thinking and I felt like, hey, let's make a video real quick. But you already know you can either choose to hit both triggers with one finger, or you can go double finger and hold the controller with these two fingers at the bottom. So imagine I have the controller in my hand, and so I have this on the top trigger and this one on the bottom. The problem with the trigger is about right in the center is where I keep my finger. When I'm trying to press from there, you can press, but you have to exert a lot of force to press from there, which means it's not meant to be naturally pressed from that location. In actuality, if you slide for a larger, maybe it's just because I have larger hands, but in actuality, you have to slide your finger back a little bit in order to hit the triggers, or I'm sorry, not the triggers, but the bumpers in the right location. And that's ridiculous. I mean, even the original Xbox had the triggers or the bumpers in the right location so that you could press them very easily. So I'm calling to action for Microsoft. Either let me use my previous controller, or release at Microsoft stores or something a version of the controller that is better for individuals with bigger hands, or that allows you to maneuver your finger around the bumper and press it from any point without causing strain on the button. I feel like I'm going to break the button. You can still press it, but it's very difficult and unreliable, especially in those, trigger line moments when you're playing Call of Duty, when you're playing Battlefield and you need to throw a grenade or this, that, or the other. It feels very uncomfortable. But I want to get a big voice going with other people that feel the same about the controller. Honestly, I feel like they went into a room, a board meeting, said, okay, let's redesign the controller. And they did a bunch of good things for the controller. Like, so far, originally I was complaining about the enlarged triggers. I actually still prefer the Xbox 360's triggers at the bottom. But I've kind of gotten used to the triggers on the new Xbox One controller. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it works. But what doesn't work is the top two bumpers. So I want to see who else believes the same thing. I want comments, suggestions. If you think I'm holding the controller the wrong way, which, I really doubt it, but hey, I could be wrong and you guys can help me out. But I want to see if we can get enough voices out there to change something that I feel it's kind of on the level of what they said at launch when they were talking about not having DRM policies and not being able to trade games and things like that. The controller is the thing I'm going to be using for the lifetime of my system, so it has to be right. And how did you mess up and make it where the controller literally feels uncomfortable to me? You guys were testing the system for so long. How do you mess up on the triggers? So I'm going to go ahead and leave this conversation and concept idea open to anybody on YouTube. Leave me comments. I'll probably make more videos based off of what people say. I'll test out your theories on how I should hold the controller or use the controller. And until next time, I'll see you ladies and geeks in the next video.